Welcome to this explainer. So, think back to your first job. Maybe you were folding clothes at a retail spot or, working a drive-thru. We usually look at these entry-level gigs as just stepping stones, right? Just a way to pay for weekend plans. But what if we completely flip that script? What if a standard retail job wasn't just a temporary gig, but actually a genuine masterclass in global business operations? Well, today we're going to unpack a brilliant example of exactly that, and we'll see how everyday shop floor tasks are literally the hidden foundation of massive corporate success.
So what can a retail shoe store actually teach us about global logistics? It kind of feels like a paradox, doesn't it? Like, on one hand, you've got massive cargo ships and crazy complex predictive algorithms. And then on the other, you've got a customer just trying on a pair of sneakers on a Tuesday. But here's the thing. That retail store is the ultimate destination of the whole global logistics network. It is the absolute tip of the spear. If operations break down right there on the shop floor, well, the entire supply chain fails. To really get a grasp on this, let's follow one specific journey.
Section 1. Introduction to the journey. Meet Fajar HAZIQ.
We aren't going to explore this through, dry textbook definitions. Instead, we're looking at Fajar's documented real-world experience. He put together this incredible e-portfolio detailing his time working retail, and here is why it's absolutely fascinating. Fajar is actually a logistics and supply chain management student, so he views his workplace through this incredibly precise lens of supply chain logistics. When he walks into a storeroom, he doesn't just see a bunch of shoeboxes stacked up. No, he sees nodes in a distribution network. He sees inventory turnover rates. His academic mindset literally turns a totally standard job into an absolute goldmine of insights.
Moving on to Section 2, the Bata brand promise, a foundation of trust and volume.
So, Fajar was employed by Bata, which is this massive, high-volume global brand. And operating at that kind of scale, it requires flawless execution. In his reflection, Fajar notes that Bata thrives in Malaysia specifically because of three core pillars. Their products are comfortable, durable, and affordable. Now think about that from an operational standpoint. To actually remain affordable while keeping up that quality, a company just can't afford bottlenecks or waste. Every single penny saved in back-end logistics directly helps maintain that affordability pillar for the everyday consumer.
And that brings us right to Fajar's own observation. Bata is one of the world's most recognized and trusted footwear brands. The sheer scale of that reputation is just wild when you really stop to think about it. Sure, global executives might be the ones designing the big picture strategy, but it's the frontline workers who actually hold that multi-million-dollar reputation in their hands every single day. Talk about immense pressure, right?
All right, Section 3, Life on the Shop Floor, the daily operations.
So what does it actually look like to carry all that responsibility? Well, it really comes down to a rigorous operational flow, assisting customers, supporting cashier operations, and managing inventory. And Fajar? He handled all three of those. These aren't just random, disconnected tasks. It's a continuous supply chain loop happening entirely within four walls. Think about it. The customer interaction feeds the cashier flow, which then impacts the inventory levels, which in turn directly dictates what's actually available for the very next customer who walks through the door.
Because of this incredibly rigorous loop, Fajar hones some totally essential skills: discipline, attention to detail, and communication. But let's take a second to recontextualize those. Attention to detail isn't just, making a shoe display look pretty. In the world of logistics, if you misplace a box in the back room, the system registers a phantom item. That one tiny, seemingly harmless error, it cascades into a lost sale and a seriously disappointed customer. So these everyday shop floor duties are actually forging some really high-level career skills.
Which leads us to Section 4, Connecting Theory to Practice, the aha moment.
This right here is where the magic happens. This is where Fajar realized his part-time job and his intense university degree were basically entirely connected. I mean, picture a university lecture hall. There, inventory control is just a mathematical equation on a whiteboard. But down in the Bata stockroom, inventory control is physical, it's heavy, and it is incredibly fast-paced. Fajar gained this amazing practical exposure that totally bridged his academic theory with real-world execution, literally managing the flow with his very own hands.
And beyond just moving physical boxes around, the frontline environment actually served as this high-pressure laboratory for crucial soft skills, specifically teamwork and problem-solving. Logistics at its core is fundamentally about overcoming obstacles, and honestly, you rarely ever do that alone. When the shipment is late or, say, a point-of-sale system randomly glitches out, you have to work with your team to solve it in real time, literally right there in front of the consumer.
This whole realization is captured just beautifully by Fajar himself. He wrote, "I witnessed how trust is built through consistent quality in service." And he hit the nail on the head there. Brand trust isn't actually built in some fancy boardroom or by a super clever marketing campaign. It's actively constructed at ground level. Every single time Fajar communicated effectively or just made absolutely sure the right shoe was in the right box, he was actively maintaining that immense global brand trust.
Ultimately, Fajar called his time at Bata an invaluable journey of growth. Why? Because he didn't just punch a clock. He studied the whole machine from the inside out. So I want to leave you with this question. How is your current experience shaping your future career? Whether you're working an entry-level gig, you're in middle management, or maybe you're still in school, take a page out of Fajar's book. Look for that masterclass hiding in plain sight in your daily tasks. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep looking a little deeper, and I'll see you next time.